Happy New Year, everyone. My name is Kevin Haldon, and I am the host of the Nerdly Out Loud podcast, the official podcast of nerdly.co.uk. Your British home for all your favourite news, reviews, and exclusive interviews, mostly done by me, because I'm pretty awesome, and that's kind of my job on Nerdly. I do the interviews. So we cover everything from Marvel to DC, from Disney to Signature, from Peyton to Spielberg, big budget to low budget to no budget. We try to cover everything within our remit. The only website out there, especially in Britain, that asks the question, we are Nerdly, are you? So 2020 was a year for sure, wasn't it? It's one of those years that I think we're all going to be pretty happy to be out of. We are now in 2021, thank God. One of the things that really took a hit and really kind of is the main reason I want to do this episode. This is the first time I've done a video like this, and I wanted to make sure that I did one for a top 10 of 2020 because the movie industry took a hit. It really did take a massive hit. Movies were getting shut down left, right and centre, delayed left, right and centre, just straight up cancelled left, right and centre. Movies like Fast 9, the James Bond movie, A Good Time to Die, Black Widow, all these different movies just kind of getting pushed back and pushed back and pushed back. Christopher Nolan decided there's no way Tenet's not coming out this year, so he put it out. A lot of people are saying it could be the end of cinema because of Tenet. Personally, I don't agree with that. I think that's just a bit of a silly thing to say, really. And in the middle of all that, you had Universal decided to put Trolls World Tour out, broke streaming records, fair play, but then that obviously upset all the theatres. What you're going to do? They made money off it though, so they're happy. Warner Brothers and HBO have decided that they are going to do this whole thing about when it hits the theatres, it's also going to hit streaming. I mean, that's been a thing for a while. I remember Steven Soderbergh trying it way back in the day with Criminal, the Maggie Gyllenhaal movie. But with that said, 2020 did bring us some absolute belters. Your more low-budget independent movies really got a look in this year. A chance to be out there and for people to see them. Getting the spotlight that they deserve. People finding them. They were doing Comic-Con panels online. They were doing promotional material online. I benefited from a few of them, which we might talk about throughout this list. That's why I wanted to do this list, to make sure that if you didn't see the movie in 2020, you get a chance to see it. It's maybe not the top 10 that I might have came out in another year. It's the top 10 that benefited from 2020, to be perfectly honest, because I needed movies that were going to entertain me. So spoiler alert, Tenet, not on the list. Didn't really need a Christopher Nolan thinker this year. Wonder Woman, not on the list for the pure fact that I haven't watched it yet. I've not watched it. I will get to it. It's a movie I want to watch, but I haven't. In 1917, which came out way back in January, didn't make the list. As amazing as that movie is, and I know some people that work behind the scenes and stuff like that, amazing as that film is, just, I wasn't in need of a war movie in 2020. It's just been one of those years. Definitely wasn't in the mood for Songbird this year. So yeah, we're going to get into my list in a second, but I do want to preface this whole thing. This is a Nerdly Out Loud podcast list. This is my list, Kevin Haldon's list. I don't want any contributors on there getting any flack for anything that I've put on or missed out because you feel like it should be on there. This is solely my list. And as I say, it's not based on critical reception. It's not based on money made. It's not based on budget. It's not based on any of that. It's based on how much fun I had while watching the movie. And for whatever reason that I had that fun. The button down below, it says subscribe. Hit that subscribe button. There's a little bell beside it. Hit the bell because apparently that gives you notifications. Do that and it'll tell you whenever I drop something. That would be awesome. Thank you very much. Also, just tell someone. Tell someone about us. Tell someone about the show. Tell someone about the YouTube channel, the Twitter, the podcast. All the links and everything for our social media will be, I think it goes down here. Please do all that and you'll find everything. Do it. Kicking off the list is my number 10, Villain. Directed by Phil Barantini and starring the amazing Craig Fairbrass. Craig Fairbrass has gone a long way this year to cementing himself as the actor we all knew he was. Been doing gangster films from day one, pretty much pigeonholed into that genre. He's an absolutely fantastic actor. And this year with Villain and Muscle, if you've not seen Muscle, check Muscle out as well. With these two movies, he has shone a light on himself. He's doing something different. Phil Barantini, this is kind of like his first proper feature. I've watched a couple of shorts that he's made. I really like him as a director. I rate him. He knows what he's doing. The script for this, I believe, was written by Bart Rispoli, a name that I keep coming across. It's fantastic. You think it's one thing, it's really not that thing. It's completely something else, and you will thoroughly enjoy it. Villain is just an incredible movie. Big special mention to Izuka Hoyle, is Craig Fairbrass's daughter. She is phenomenal. Keep an eye on this girl. Look out for that name. You are going to be seeing her again very, very soon. So yeah, my number 10 is Villain. Coming in at number 9 is a Russian movie. Yeah, I like my foreign language movies, by the way. You'll maybe figure this out along the way. A Russian movie called Why Don't You Just Die, directed by Kirill Sokolov. Absolutely phenomenal. I watched 2 big Russian movies this year. You had the Invasion Blackout one with the aliens and stuff like that coming down. That was a really cool film. It was pretty awesome. When You Just Die is just exactly up my street. It's the kind of movie that is made for people like me. It's set in an apartment. You have the police officer father, you have the mother, you have the daughter, and the boyfriend comes round. There's a little bit of tension for reasons unknown. You will find out as the movie goes on, and it just becomes an all-out slobber knocker in this little apartment. Big fights, lots of dialogue. Thoroughly enjoyed this movie. It's the sort of movie that can take one contained setting and grip you. The stunts are fantastic. The effects are fantastic. What they do to this apartment is just mental. Created something great here. If you haven't seen Why Don't You Just Die, please do check it out. I think you'll love it. So my number 8 is kind of left field. It's the Intergalactic Adventures of Max Cloud. This movie came out not that long ago. Big fan of Scott Adkins. Love Scott Adkins. Whatever he does, I'm going to watch. He made another movie earlier in the year, The Debt Collectors, a Jesse V. Johnson movie. Just a fantastic film, great film with him and Louis Mandelaar just kicking it. The Intergalactic Adventures of Max Cloud, directed by Martin Owens, stars obviously Adkins, John Hannah, Tommy Flanagan, and a whole host of others. It's a fantastic film. It's kind of based around a video game type thing, like an 8-bit video game. The girl, it's sucked into the game, becomes one of the characters within the game, and then her and Scott Adkins have to figure out how to complete the game, and then she can get back out. It's her friend on the outside called Cowboy. He is now controlling her. Great little film. It's silly. It's a bit of fun. As I said, I just needed to be entertained this year, and this movie is entertaining as balls. Adkins is clearly engrossed in the character. He's loving the character because when he's just sort of standing around, he's sort of in fight stance, but sort of moving his feet around, like they do in video games. And it just totally adds to everything. When he's having a fight and he does like a big move and he does the victory pose, like Adkins just seems to be having fun with this. I'm assuming he just loved making this movie. It's a great little movie. Martin Owen, I am looking out to see what you do next. This is just fun. Intergalactic Adventures of Max Cloud, number 8. Go from fun schlocky sci-fi to dark schlocky horror with Hosts. Directors Richard Oakes and Adam Leader. I have been watching this movie for some time, kind of them getting it made from the start and everything. It ended up being way better than anyone I think expected. I think these guys knew they were onto something special. I think they knew they had something in the bag. But the movie came out and absolutely smashed. If you watch it for one thing and one thing only, Christmas dinner scene. That's all I'm going to say. Christmas dinner scene. Watch it for that. This is a movie that will stay with you for a while. It's a possession movie, sort of body snatchers, home invasion type thing. Neil Ward in the lead, alongside Nadia Lamin. The chemistry between these two is absolutely electric. When they're on screen together, you're just in. You're just watching what's going on. Neil, I'm a big fan of. Big fan of Neil. Samantha Loxley kind of steals the movie a little bit with this. Yeah, she's a dark character, and I love it, but you kind of love her as well. These guys made something super interesting, and you kind of just think it is a home invasion film, it is a possession film, it's by the numbers. It really isn't. They do a lot of interesting things. I did a Q&A with the entire cast and crew. Just enjoyed it, for a totally different reason to most of the other movies on this list. It is a horror vibe. It gives you a horror kick. Fantastic scenes that just stand out and you won't forget. So yeah, Hosts. So right at the start, I said there were some left field choices in this list. This is a left field choice. And believe me, I never ever thought in a million years, especially after last year, this movie would make anyone's list. But it made mine, and it comes in at number 6. Tremors 7, Shrieker Island. If you haven't seen this, if you're a Tremors fan, if you love Tremors from back in the day, the first and the second, even the third, and a little bit the fourth, stop after that and then come back for this one. Don Michael Paul, you have completely redeemed yourself. You are now the man for me to take Tremors forward. If you want to, I'm okay if you don't, but if you want to. John Heder came into this film replacing Jamie Kennedy. Fantastic, fantastic cast choice. Thank God for that. And Michael Gross is loving this movie. He is just so in Burt Gummer now. He is Burt Gummer. I don't want to go into spoiler territory, but they give him a really, really good arc in this film from the start to the finish, and I don't know if he's coming back. I hope he comes back. I want to see Michael Gross play Burt Gummer for the rest of his days. If he doesn't come back, though, that's all good. That's all good. Richard Brake playing sort of the Verlaine character, and he plays it so well, as Richard Brake always does. He's a cool cat. And if anybody's going to deal with graboids and shriekers and ass blasters, it's Richard Brake. And this movie completely took me by surprise. I was not expecting it to be this good. It had very little right to be as good as it is, to be perfectly honest. But it ticked all my boxes this year. 2020, yeah. Number 6, Tremors, Shrieker Island. I don't think number 5 is going to come as a surprise to anyone. I think this is going to be a lot of top 10s, top 5s, top whatevers of 2020. The movie is Host. It was made during lockdown when they said we couldn't make movies. Jed Shepard, Rob Savage found a way. They teamed up with Gemma Hurley. They wrote a fantastic, bare bones storyline. Filmed over Zoom, which is innovative as hell. I know we're going to be getting a ton of these coming in the next few months, the next year. There's going to be loads of these Zoom movies, loads of coronavirus movies. This is the one that sets the bar. It's only 50 minutes long, so technically I don't know how it works as a feature. I don't know if we can count it as a feature. I think it meets the threshold. Shudder picked it up straight away. All 5 of the girls in it. Gemma Moore, Redina, Caroline Ward, Hayley Bishop, Emma Louise Webb. I'm completely forgetting all the names. I did a fantastic little Q&A panel online with them for like a QuaranCon, which was absolutely amazing. Thank you so much to those girls again for coming on and doing that. All 5 of them came on the Zoom. We did a live Facebook feed. It was awesome. Not the fact that it's a Zoom movie. It's not the fact that it's sort of found footage or anything like that. It's not the fact that it's a coronavirus movie. I mean, that is barely a C plot. It's just in the background doing its thing. Okay, COVID's happening. It's the fact that they made it in the way they did, in the time they did. Massive Blumhouse have come forward and picked these guys up to push forward on new movies and whatnot. I can't wait to see what they do next. Jed's got a movie multiplex coming out with all the girls in it again. I'll definitely be checking that out. This is the movie that 2020 made, and it pleases me so much. I was on Twitter New Year's Eve, and the director Rob Savage put some tweets out there, and it sounds like at the start of the year he didn't really know where he was or where he was going. This movie has absolutely done bits, and they're going to run with it. It's a wonderful little film, and I'm so glad they did it. Host. Number 4, The Legend of Barantoa. This film warmed my heart. It's endearing as hell. It's charming as hell. It's just a really, really nice story. It's filmed in New Zealand. The actor Yule Latakufu, I've probably messed that up. I'm sorry if I have. Please don't hurt me. Is just so damn good in it. It's like when you first watch Once Were Warriors, Tamara Morrison comes on the screen. You don't want to like him, but you absolutely love him, even though he's a bit of a... Yule comes on. He's just so... oozes just all of this charisma, and you just want to hug him, and you just want to love him, and you just want to be his best friend. The guy that plays his dad, I forget what his name is now, I'm really sorry. He is utterly, utterly fantastic. It's basically a movie about a guy who comes home. His dad's a wrestling legend. He has like a heavyweight belt. It gets stolen by a local biker gang, so he has to go in and retrieve it. The shenanigans to get it back. It's all about their shenanigans to keep it. The shenanigans going on within the street. It's a fantastic little movie, kind of like Friday, set in New Zealand with a bit of a Maori twist and some wrestling goodness. If they ever make a biography about The Rock, this is the guy to play him. This guy here. Get him to play him. Like, he's awesome. Just oozes charisma. The Legend of Baron Toa. Please do check it out. You will love it. It's a bit left field. It's a bit strange, but it's so damn fun. It's just so much fun. You'll have a blast. I'm not a fan of Christmas movies by any stretch. This one came out this year. It is Fat Man. It's a movie about Santa Claus. Mel Gibson plays Santa Claus. People are trying to kill him, which is fantastic. There's this little kid in the movie, gets a bit of coal for Christmas, so he hires a hitman called Skinny Man, played by Walton Goggins. Effortlessly, I'll watch anything with this guy in it. So he is hired to go and kill Santa Claus. But this whole movie's set in a real world situation, so you can actually find Santa Claus if you want. So he goes to the postal service, he finds Santa's address, and he goes to kill Santa Claus. Mel Gibson is a really hardened Santa. He's had enough of being shot at all the time, because he gets shot at every time he goes out. His wife is played by Marianne Jean-Baptiste, who steals this movie out from under everyone. Their relationship sells this movie. Genuinely was shocked by this film, how good it was, how good of a Christmas movie this was. Ian and Isham Nelms, the Nelms brothers, they are coming off like a bunch of short movies, a feature with John Hawkes, Small Town Crimes, which I've not seen yet. I'm really sorry, I'm going to do it, guys. I am going to do it. This is your new Die Hard. Watch this every Christmas. It's 10 times better than Elf. Fat Man in at number 3. I love this film. Years and years and years ago, I left the cinema after having seen a movie called Skyline. I genuinely thought the movie was great. A little bit ahead of its time, I think. Effects were great. The practical stuff was kind of not used to a great effect because they wanted to overload with VFX. Cut to like 7 years later, and Beyond Skyline comes out with Frank Grillo and 2 guys from the Raid, Iko and Yayan. Completely revitalizes the franchise. Totally gets you back in. Anybody who saw Beyond Skylines and said they didn't like Beyond Skylines was embarrassed to say that they liked Beyond Skylines. Cut to like 2020, we're in the middle of all this pandemic, everything's gone to crap. Fright Fest comes round and they go online, and Skyline 3, we've got a Skylines movie coming. Could not believe this was happening. I was so excited because, like I say, I loved the first one, big fan of the second one. Reached out to Liam O'Donnell, the director, on Twitter, because I can do that now. Do an interview with him before Fright Fest, which was great. I've now done a Q&A with the full cast and crew a couple of weeks ago. It'll be down below. Do check that out because that was so much fun. Lindsay Morgan's in this movie from the CW 100. She is awesome in this. She is my new leading lady kind of action star to look out for. She's going to do bits. Jonathan Howard's in this movie from Dream Team. I mean, I don't think he was too impressed that I brought that up, but I brought it up. Alexander Siddig from DS9, Rona Mitra from Everything Ever, James Cosmo. The stars in this movie. Daniel Bernhard. It is an action sci-fi romp. It's so much fun in all the ways that I loved Max Cloud. You get a lot of that with Skylines, but then you get a ton of action on top of that. They leave it open for another one. I hope they do. Liam, if you're watching, if you're seeing this, give me that Butcher Bay movie. Give me Grillo and Butcher Bay. I'm going to watch it all day, every day. As the man said, this movie is way better than your dumb joke. Number 2. Number 1 is Knuckle Dust, which is just an awesome film. It's a vibe. It's an 80s movie that's trying to be 90s, filmed in 2019, released in 2020. Pretty much the gist of it. It's a fantastic little film. James Kermack, the director, had the wonderful opportunity to speak to the guy. He absolutely smashed this. The script is phenomenal. It starts off as sort of an underground Fight Club type movie. Then it turns into sort of a noir thriller, cop procedural drama. Then it turns back into a bit of action. And then we get some twisty-turny stuff. No stone is left unturned in this movie. You get this amazing like Guy Ritchie opening scene where like all the names are popping up on the screen. Who knew that was going to work in 2020? You've got Mo Dunford in there. You might remember from Vikings. He played Ethel Wolf. By the way, Vikings, new series, amazing. Jamie Winston, kind of almost steals the movie. Kind of nearly does. Really, really like that. Kate Dickie, who I met years back, just a wonderful, wonderful woman. Her chemistry with Mo Dunford in the interrogation scenes is like Line of Duty levels chemistry. Like they just smash it. Everyone in it is just wonderful. Love this movie. 80s balls. Soundtrack is phenomenal. It's just nice and synthy. Yeah, there's not a lot I can say about Knuckle Dust that I haven't already said. I love the movie. It is definitely my number one of this year. Easily my number one. Skyline's upset the apple cart a little bit, but this movie was, when I was putting this together, number one was Knuckle Dust from the get-go. Leading male performance of 2020, for me, is Mo Dunford. He is absolutely incredible as Hardy. This film was exactly what I needed, and I watched it at exactly the right time. There's an audience for this film. People want to see this film. Knuckle Dust, number one of 2020. Mo Dunford, you're an absolute legend. James Kermack, what have you got next? I need to see it. So yeah, that is my top 10 of 2020. I know it's a little bit of an unconventional list. There's movies that aren't on there that deserve to be on there. I'm sure you'll all have your own opinions, which, by the way, there's a comment section below. Please do throw your opinions in there. Let me know what movies you thought were the best of the year. That is the best thing about film. It's the best thing about what I do with the podcast. It's the best thing about what we're doing on nerdly.co.uk, is that we get to talk openly about these movies and nobody's going to judge you, because we all have terrible taste. It was a very, very hard top 10 to put together. To start with, I had about 40 films, then I had to whittle them down. I mean, there's movies that it was hard not to have in there. It really was hard. Giles Alderson, the filmmaker's podcast, he released The Dare this year, which I absolutely loved. Not having that on this list was just so hard. Also, some big ass turkeys this year. I mean, if you saw Songbird, you know what I'm talking about. Damn. Subscribe to the channel, hit the bell so that it lets you know when we've got stuff coming out. Please do keep an eye out. Watch all the videos we've got below. There's some amazing interviews there so far. I want to say a massive, huge thank you to Mr. Phil Wheat, the man that is the Commander-in-Chief of nerdly.co.uk. We've all been having a really crappy 2020, and Phil was the man that turned around and said, you know what, man, run with it, see what you can do, see what you come up with. There wasn't any intention of this, like just me talking to you, but you know what? I might do it. I might throw some reviews up on the online of me tearing movies apart. That's what I like to do. This was my top 10 of 2020. I hope you've enjoyed this. Please do come back for the next episode. I'll see you in a bit. I'm off to binge watch Cobra Kai.